what was that? Was that a game? Is that what it's like when you get spaghetti with chili on it in Cincinnati? That's what I imagine spaghetti with chili on it, how it tastes. That was bad. Let's talk about it.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we update you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on X and Facebook. They can also find me at Back to the Bullpen on X, on iHeartRadio, on Instagram, and on YouTube. I'm always positive, always Stros.
Guys, thank you for making us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and make the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. Go and check out Michael Connor on the Locked On Astros podcast as well. You can go and watch everything on your Amazon Fire TV stick. Just search the free channels app, search baseball. You can see our handsome faces up on your big screen or projected screen, whatever you want to say. So, guys, today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Just go ahead and get your phone and go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB. Use the code all lowercase LockedOnMLB to win $50 instantly when you play $5. Brett, I'm a little I don't know what to say about this game. I know that the other day a lot was made about Spencer Arrighetti being a pitcher in the playoffs over Justin Verlander and that type of stuff. So this is why a rookie is good. He was a rookie of the month for August. He's done great. And I know somebody put in the comments that he was due for a bad start. But there's bad starts, and then there's whatever this crap was. And I'll tell you how rare this bad start was for Spencer Arrighetti.
It almost sounds like you're reveling in the fact that he had a bad start.
Oh, I'm just saying that, like
you're spiking the
even
football.
Dana Brown said what I said the other day on podcast about being spring training for Justin Verlander.
He's connecting the dots. See, you see what he did there? See what he did there? I went in on Justin Verlander, and he's defending him. This has nothing to do with Justin Verlander.
I know.
Spencer Arrighetti just got Rookie of the Month. Spencer Arrighetti, literally for the first time in American League history, struck out 12 batters and 13, or was it 12 batters, 13 batters, back-to-back starts. It's never been done by a rookie in American League history. So Arrighetti has done well. You are right. There is a point in there, okay? Having a rookie be a starter in a playoff game, it is a bit of a wild card. You don't know how things will shake out. But the Astros haven't beat the Reds since 2016. This has more to do with a club just having your number. You remember when the Orioles were really bad, when they sucked before they were good, and they swept us? You remember that? And everyone's like, how do we play down to these teams? I just think, look, behind the Arrighetti 2/3 of an inning, behind Bagwell's terrible commentary tonight, oh my God, can we find somebody else to, if the game goes south, can we just leave Callis in there by himself? Bagwell was so terrible. He was so boring. I'm sorry, Bagwell. I just can't with you right now. He was about as mundane as a blank sheet of paper. It was excruciating. I actually flipped the game and just watched on my MLB game app. I just followed the game day. I couldn't do it, Eric. I was disappointed. I was like, is football on right now? It was that bad. But look, you hate it because look, the Mariners did it again last night. They got beat by a walk-off by Oakland, so they helped you out. Right now, the Mariners are up 2-1, but it's early in the game. The A's will probably come back and beat them. But you do, for all intents and purposes, right now, with that loss, you have a 6-game lead. Even if the Mariners win tonight, it's still 5.5. I like where they're at. You just hope that tomorrow, Hunter Brown can be the stopper.
Yeah. And I know that Hunter Brown has rebounded from his bad start against the Tigers, and Spencer Arrighetti has joined a exclusive group of Astros pitchers. I'm sure he did not want to be part of, and so he is. Three pitchers in Astros histories have given up 9 runs and not pitched in a full inning. Can you guess who they are?
I have no clue.
Hunter Brown did it earlier this year on April 20th. And then also Jason Jennings back in 2007.
I was gonna throw out like a Tim Redding or something like that, or Chris Sampson. Like, dude, Jason Jennings. Wow, Jason Jennings. That reminds me of Jordan Schaefer. I remember how cocky that guy was. You remember Jordan Schaefer? He thought he was the bee's knees. That dude was not even a good look. Hey, he made it to major leagues. I never did. But that dude thought he was cool the other side of the pillow, and he was not very good at all.
Yeah, so those are the 3 pitchers in Astros history to allow 9 runs without finishing an inning. So I know Arrighetti got 2 outs, but he just couldn't finish it. And I know Pena's defense, we'll talk about that a little bit later, didn't help. There's a lot of things in this game that did not help. The 3 walks, he didn't have his pinpoint command. He didn't have his out stuff like he's had recently. Yeah. So the rookie just had a bad day. It's okay. That's what you expect from a rookie. You don't expect that dominance that we've been seeing as consistently. So it's up to him to decide what happens next. Is he gonna go in and pout and just go into a shell of himself, or is he going to dominate like he's been doing? And so I think Arrighetti's going to rebound. I think this is something about maybe somebody told him, hey, you got to do well because we have this bad history against the Reds and we haven't won since 2016. And maybe he was just trying to be extra perfect, nibble at the strike zone, and just things happen.
Yeah, no, it's, look, it's baseball. It's predicated on failure, right? But I like Joseph's take here. Joseph, good take. I hate when the Astros lose, but so far the Yankees, the Orioles, and Indians have also lost, so we didn't lose ground for the number 1 or number 2 seed. See, that's an always positive, always shows, Eric. And Joseph, that's not something I was thinking about. But yes, Cam, it probably was the worst loss of the season. But look, it was 12-5. I mean, Eric, can we wipe out the first inning? If we wipe out the first inning, the Astros win 5-3. So really, it's a victory, right?
Sure. We'll go with that. We'll go with that. So
maybe that could be one of the new rules, because see, the 9 runs hurt my feelings. The 9 runs hurt so many fans' feelings. Well, and because of that, we don't want to be triggered. And so, Rob Manfred, give us a safe space. Take away the first inning.
Well, you can't have any more openers. That's where Rob Manfred wants to get away with. So,
see, the first inning means nothing. I'm joking. I'm just kidding. Look, I mean, who's going to go in and look at this film? Spencer Arrighetti.
Right.
And I mean, they had the leadoff home run. You're like, okay, leadoff home run, no big deal. But then it was like the snowball just kept getting bigger as it rolled down the hill, unfortunately.
2/3 of an inning, 6 hits, 9 earned runs, 3 walks, no strikeouts, 38 pitches, 23 strikes. And it's not even like he threw a lot of balls. It just, he either threw a ball and walked the guy, or they made contact. And so it was just one of those, or an error happened. And that error was a costly one because it cost the Astros 2 runs at the time. And unfortunately, the Astros, when things go bad for the Astros, especially defensively recently, it just seems to barrel out of control. And so the Astros just need to rebound, hopefully get a win tomorrow with Hunter Brown on the mound. We got to get out of this Reds curse. Not that the Reds are going to be in the playoffs or anything, but it is for the sake of it.
It's one of those things. So, hey, since we're talking about bad things, John has become, this dude is like, he shows up like he's the Mauricio Dubon of our listeners, of our viewers. Which was the first worst inning, Hunter Brown at the Royals or Spencer Arrighetti at the Reds? I seem to think that Arrighetti's is probably worse, because didn't Hunter Brown give up fewer runs? And ultimately, by default, I want to
say that he only got 1 out.
He was only in 1/3 of an inning. Well,
yes,
Arrighetti lasted 2/3. So if that's the threshold, then I guess it's
But what did Hunter Brown do from there? And so that's what I'm saying. What Hunter Brown, and I think even Jeff Blum was like, "Hey," he went up and talked to him. I heard this on the radio on the way home. He said he
right.
went up to Hunter Brown and talked to him and said, "Hey, the way you rebounded after that start, the next start that's going to earn you a big contract. That's going to help you a lot down the
Right.
road." So actually, he did get 2 outs in that game. So he allowed this. Brown was much worse, guys. Brown was much worse. You ready?
Okay.
2/3 of innings, 11 hits, 9 earned runs, just not quite as many walks. He allowed 1 home run and 1 walk. So 40 pitches in that game. So we're going to continue this conversation next. Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Make sure you're going to subscribe to us.
This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly when you play $5. That's right. It's the #1 fantasy sports app. Over 5 million active users. Myself and Eric play it all the time. It is a blast. All you do is pick more or less with 2 to 6 players, stat projections, and watch the winnings roll in. It's not you against thousands of people. It's you against the numbers. And 1 Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win in PrizePicks every week in September. That's right. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free W's. Don't miss the deal on PrizePicks because it's gone when September ends. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. But when my picks hit, I can get the money in as quick as 15 minutes, and then you know what? I can roll it back into PrizePicks, or I can go out to eat. Look, PrizePicks is fun. Check it out today. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB. You don't even need to win to receive the $50. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks. Run your game.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Make us first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out. Make us your first listen and become everydayer, somebody that listens to our podcast every day. I appreciate all the people that came out to the Locked On Astros game the other day. It was nice meeting a lot of y'all out there. I know Cam's in here, and it was just fun meeting a lot of our listeners in person. So maybe we'll do that again, like Brett said. But anytime you see us at a game, just say hi. But thank you for becoming everydayers and listening to our podcast. So I know that it's been a little bit weird the past couple of days, but at least the Mariners keep on losing. I know they're winning at the moment right now. But at the start of the day, the Astros had a 6.5 game lead. So that's all you can ask for, is to have that cushion in case you fall. Always tell students, like, build up like your grade high. So in case for when the midterm or the final exam comes around, you have a cushion to fall. The Astros have built that cushion. So we saw that the Astros are resting some players. They're taking their time with the Kyle Tucker. We'll talk a little bit more about Kyle Tucker in a little bit. We saw them take all their starters, basically empty the bench midway through today's game, which was basically worthless game anyway at that point. But unfortunately, we did not get to see a position player pitch because the new rule says that you have to have a 10-run lead. Or to be losing by 10 runs. So
right. And they actually made mention of that on the radio. They said, hey, you probably wonder why Presley's in a meaningless game. Well, there's a rule on that. And unfortunately, he goes, fortunately, we're not down by the run threshold, but there is a run threshold, which, look, I get it. Bottom line is, the moral of the story is, don't get in that situation. The Astros, when you look at everybody they used, Arrighetti, Taylor Scott, Forrest Whitley, Caleb Ort, Hector Neris, Ryan Presley. I mean, they used a lot of guys just to pitch in those innings. And so at the end of the day, you just got to move past it. I mean, the guys aren't going in there. They're not sulking. They're not pointing fingers at Arrighetti. They're not blaming him. They're just like, you know what? Our defense wasn't great. There was that throw over from Whitley to first base when he was on a 3-2 count with 2 outs and he threw over. DeCenzo was not there. And so just the whole game, like whenever something happened, you were like, okay. And then when Singleton hit the home run, you're like, well, of course Singleton would hit a home run at a point in the game where it's meaningless. It was just like, dang, you want Singleton to hit a home run when it's 5-5 and he takes a lead 6-5. So it kind of was all for naught. I mean, the entire lineup sprinkled 9 hits throughout the entire lineup. The only person to have a multiple hit game, Chas McCormick, 2 for 3 today, erased his average to 199. So there's some positivity for you.
I know DeCenzo, he didn't field a couple of throws. I know one for sure, but I don't know. They weren't credited an error to him, but I know the defense at first base has been a little bit shaky at times, but he did have 2 RBIs in today's game. So he is making his impact. When Kyle Tucker does return, we'll talk about that in a little bit. He's likely going to be the one going down because I think they like Jason Hayward's veteran leadership. Gamble has been, I don't know, I keep on trying to say Gage, but what Gamble has been, I keep on wanting that Gage guy. Like, remember, Dusty Baker didn't even know his name. He said that lefty guy. So,
well, as long as you don't get a jersey made and put Gage on the back with Gamble's number and think, but it's all good. It's all good. We know you're talking.
Yeah, so Gamble's been doing well. He's continuing to play well for the Houston Astros. So I think that it's got to be DeCenzo as he's been playing well recently. Defense is a little shaky, but good thing, positive notes. Bregman returns. And I know that was part of the discussion in yesterday's podcast was when will Bregman come back? He was back today. He did have a double in today's game. He did that was his only hit of the game, but he did return. And so that's good to see him back. How often will he play down the stretch? I think the bigger the lead becomes, I think the more you'll see Bregman either play DH or go ahead and take the day off or something like that, because they want to make sure whatever's going on with the elbow that he is ready for the postseason. So we'll have to talk about in the third segment what Dana Brown said and what Joe Espada has said about Kyle Tucker's usage when he comes back. And if you're listening to this podcast, you know that Kyle Tucker did not return on Wednesday like all the talk. Oh, he's going to return on Wednesday. Well, not so fast.
Well, but we were only saying that because the club was saying that. Okay. So, so to our credit, but look, today, when I look at this game, one of the things that I think needs to happen, that needs to get cleaned up, is the defense. Mm-hmm. The defense has been lackadaisical. The defense has not been sharp, and nothing is worse, I think, for a pitcher when they don't have their defense. I mean, you say Kikuchi, okay? He was a victim of bad defense. It affected everything. It affected so much the optics that when we got him, we're like, this guy's having a terrible year. And then he comes here and he's locked in because the defense has been solid. So Pena, all these guys, they've got to get out of their own head. I think it's a mental thing for them right now, and they've got to move past it. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but a little birdie told me that they extended the dark green tint in the background beyond the batter's eye. Now, the Budweiser porch is now darker green. I'm just telling you, it's darker green. Little inside information from Minute Maid Park. They extended the dark green further to the right. So I'm just telling you.
Did the 2017 Astros have this? Did the 2022 Astros have this?
Hey, trust me, I talked about this with the guys. Look, I'm just the messenger. Don't get mad at me. I'm just telling you. And I've got a picture on my phone to prove it. So they're adding dark paint. You're going to see it when you get there Friday if you go to the game against the Diamondbacks.
Hey, you know something scary? This game could have been even more out of whack. The Reds were 8 for 17 with runners in scoring position. So at least the Astros did that. 8 for 17. Wow. And the Astros were almost 300 with runners in scoring position in this game when it didn't matter at that point. But 8 for 17. Wow. You stranded a lot of runners on base, guys. So what did Dana Brown have to say about Kyle Tucker? What is Joe Espada having to say about Kyle Tucker? We will talk about that next.
Sandals, sunscreen, snacks for the kids. What do these all have in common? Well, you'll probably be buying a ton of these this summer. Don't stress out about the cost, because when you use iBody, you get cash back on all your purchases. When you stock up on your summer essentials, download the free iBody app and start earning cash back. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. It's summertime, which means barbecue season. Stock up on all your grilling favorites, hot dogs, hamburgers, so much more. And not just that, it's retailers all over the place, 2,400 of them, Macy's, Lowe's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more, at over 1,000 retailers. And the average iBody user saves or earns $256 per year. That could be an entire shopping trip, a flight you've been eyeing, and a fancy dinner you've been craving. Well, now it's time that you join over 50 million users with Ibotta and earn cash back every time they shop. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB. That's IBOTTA at the Google Play or App Store, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Make us first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Check us out and go ahead and make us your first listen. Become an everydayer, and just please, above all, subscribe to us. We're trying to get to 20,000, and we need to get your help getting there. So I know the Astros are they can make you frustrated. They can make you happy. They can make your blood pressure boil and everything. But once Kyle Tucker comes back, everything's going to be all right, right? I mean, he's running at 85% right now, according to Joe Espada. And Dana Brown went on Sports Talk 790 today and said, "Let me set the story straight." And basically,
did he say it like that?
Yeah, he basically said, "Let me set the story straight," because he's getting tired of asking, "Well, how did you not know he had a fractured shin?"
Okay,
And,
right. Yeah. So I'm sorry, Eric. Go ahead and finish, and then I've got something to say.
So he basically said that, well, when the injury initially happened, there was so much swelling there that when they did all the imaging, that they could not see what was happening behind it. And so once it started healing, that's when they're able to see the healing of this shin fracture. And so that's when they're like, oh, there was more to this. And they said that nothing would have changed. I think the healing time would have been about the same, but that explains the recovery. It's not that he didn't really say this, but it's not like the Astros were hiding it from the Astros, from the fans. It's just that they didn't know. It was just being hidden by the inflammation.
Right. And of course, I didn't know that when I went on my little rant about the Astros not being honest. And that was predicated by the Astros not being honest about a lot of things in the past. So it wasn't like I just made that up. Oh, look, we got our old friend Joe's in here, old Rangers fan. He's like, Rangers are only 9 games back. I still believe. You know what, Joe? Keep believing. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, always positive, always Stros, right? But, seriously, that right there is something I didn't realize. And now, see, I've learned, okay? And I had a friend of mine that is in the medical profession explain to me that sometimes, like you just explained, you don't see these things until after the healing is pretty much complete, and then it shows signs of this was there. I didn't realize that. You know what? I'm not a doctor. I'm not an imaging tech. Look, one of our guys, Clem, who came out to the Astros game, he is a radiologist, and he basically images. If you've got Eric, he could have helped you out with your knee. I mean, he would have been the guy taking the picture of your knee and all that stuff. So there are people out there that understand that stuff better than me. So next time I'll do a little bit more research before I go off. But I just wish the Astros would be more forthcoming when it came to stuff, because they do have that history. And I get it. They don't have to share everything with us. It's not privileged information. We're not, they're not keeping us in the dark. There's something to it. There's something to the Astros keeping things under wraps. So here's the thing. I don't think Tuck should come back unless he's 100%. I don't think Tuck should come back just as DH. I think Tuck should come back only if he can play outfield and hit. That's my take. I mean, why would you bring him back and he's not when he's not 100%? He's got to be 100% when you bring him back, right?
Right. I think that maybe Locked On Astros podcast should do some type of squares on when the day that Tucker comes back. Like, is he coming back tomorrow? Somebody can do that. Just something to have some fun with this, because I was watching an old episode of Saved by the Bell, and when Belding's wife was about to deliver a kid, and I just thought about that. But yeah, so Espada basically said that he's not going to come back as a full-time DH because he wants Alvarez. He doesn't want him playing left field every day. He wants him to get some DH at bats. He wants to get Bregman some DH at bats. So he wants him to come back when he's ready to play right field. Right field is the target. So it's not just about him coming back just to play DH. He might play a lot there at the beginning just to kind of get acclimated to instead of focusing on defense and hitting, but he's not going to be the primary DH when he comes back. So we'll see what happens. But Dana Brown said that we will see him back in the next 3 to 5 days. And Joe Espada said that we could see him soon. He's really, really close. He's bouncing back well, not so much soreness. He's really close. Talking about the next few days, he should be ready to go. Somebody asked him, what about tomorrow? Who knows? We may see. But so who knows? I think it's up to Kyle Tucker and the Astros when they all think that he's ready to go, when he can play outfield, and when he can mainly run those bases in a competitive manner. Because you can simulate a game situation anytime, but when you have to run and dive at second base, you don't want to hurt that shin. So I think the Astros just need to take their time.
Yeah, no, and that is, look, we've gotten to this point without him. We've said that ad nauseum on this show. And look, my concern tomorrow is not Hunter Brown. My concern tomorrow, by the way, who was your favorite Saved by the Bell character? You know, you had one.
Zach.
Everybody.
Me, Kelly Kapowski was. Yeah.
I was like, come on,
talking about females. Yeah,
Kelly Kapowski. Come on, dude. It's got to be Kelly, right? Look. Anyways, but where was I going with this point that I was making? The Houston Astros have got to ensure that Kyle Tucker is 100%. Tomorrow's game is against Lauder, who is a rookie, who was a number 6 or number 7 overall pick for the Reds from LSU. The thing I don't like is the Astros typically have problems with rookie pitchers that they've never seen, or pitchers they've never seen. So I just hope that because it's been so bad the first 2 games, that we flip our luck against these new guys and actually do something against them. But speaking of that, Eric, guess what?
Right.
Since you got Rangers fan in here, I've got magic numbers available for you. Okay. Astros magic number to win the division and the playoffs, 18.
What's the Rangers?
I don't care about the Rangers magic number. Let them figure that out. I've got Astros.
What's the Mariners?
Guy. Yeah. So it's 18, right? Well, if we're 5.5 or 6 games over them, then theirs has to be what? 24.
Yeah.
So if we win tomorrow and they lose tonight, doesn't it go to 17 games? Is that how that works?
Yeah. So if they lose tonight, then every loss the Mariners have, it takes away from that number. So it's a combination of Astros win or a Mariners loss.
Okay, good deal. Okay. So look, those are the magic numbers. That's where we got to get to with what, 20 something games, 21 games left. The season is coming to a close, but regardless of what's going on with Pena's defense and him getting in his own way mentally, could you believe if I would have told you back when we were in the dregs of the horrible start that we would have been saying that, guys, you know what? We're leading the division by 6 or 7 games. Would you have believed me?
No.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. Just looking at what Pena has done with the bat, his bat has improved a lot last year. He has 4 more home runs already than he had last year. The batting average is a lot better. The OPS is a lot better, but the defense has taken a step back. I don't know what it is, but it just seems like he is just not focused recently. Definitely more on the recent side of things. It just feels like the simple plays. It's just like the plays that he can make, the Derek Jeter like plays, but if it's like the routine plays, he just can't make those. And it's just, I don't know what it is. And maybe he just needs to sit down. I know he hasn't started a game or two, but I don't know.
Who Pena?
Pena, yeah.
Well, Dubon, when he was in there, he missed one too. So the bottom line is they didn't look very focused tonight, and that happens. Maybe it was a residual effect of the random day off after like you fly in, you have a game, then you have a day off. Look, you and I have never had the routine of playing 162 games in 180 days, right? Playing a professional game, and they're aging athletes. They're not getting younger. They're getting older. So, it takes a toll on your body more and more. And so, yeah, it's going to be tough, and that's not to make excuses for them, but it could be a million factors. At the end of the day, nobody cries about it. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you. You have to take care of the job. The job tomorrow is to win the last game, salvage a game, break that losing streak, which the odds are now in your chance and in your favor because you've lost so many in a row. Now, the stopper is Hunter Brown, and we do to a rookie pitcher what we don't usually do. We go out there, put a crooked number up, and the Astros win, coming home to play the D-backs.
Yeah. So in 2022, he had 19 errors. This year, he's already at 18. So,
he's quite a few. Yeah.
Right. So, guys, that's all we got for this edition of Locked On Astros podcast. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully talking about Astros victory. My name is Eric Huysman. He's Brett Chancey. We'll see you tomorrow. Astros.
Astros.